This is Iris Snell, and Iris, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Mother's family came from St Dominic to South Ward Farm. In '56 I married John and we came up here to live 2 years after. I worked for Harvey Cole picking enemies' strawberries, purse cuts, double whites, and then I went on to work with Alan Langsford. We started off with double daffs, which is 5 petals and a full centre trumpet. Never pick them in bud because they won't come out, they'll come out green, so you have to wait for them to come out, so it wouldn't have been no good sending them away as bud boxes. They had treserves. They had treserve was a big trumpet, about 6 inches, 5-6 inches across, about 3-inch long trumpet, a big one. I've never seen one since. They also had primos, which is multi-headed, white, and literally stunk, I used to think. They were very heavy scented, with small petals, very tiny petals, and little creamy colour centre cut, very tiny, but multi-headed. There was more than one flower on them. And if they had them in the kitchen where Mother used to bunch them, they would have to send me into the other room because they would send me to sleep. They were so heavy scented. Then they had Princeps, which was a well-known one, which now grows like weeds everywhere. Dad had a 6-acre field, he had to get rid of them. So we had double whites, which always came second week in May.
Yeah.
Provided we had the right conditions, it was enough wet and enough sunshine to please them. If it wasn't, they went deaf. So you didn't know you had the crop until you bunched them. Grandfather used to use, well, we had pheasant eyes, 1s and 2s, which was 5 floras, small petal, small trumpet, and sometimes there'd be 1 on them, sometimes there was 2 on them. That's why we called them 1s and 2s. We also grew ornatus, thin as number 13 needles. So if you had a bucket of them, boy oh boy, you were always bunching them because you could get a lot in a bucket. But I can remember picking the flowers Mother sent me home from school, brought my friend home, and he said, you go down and pick those double daffs down. If there are any sluggies down there, pull the reds off. So we went down, of course we wanted to play, we didn't want to pick daffodils. So I'm afraid there was many sluggy ones. Then when I got home the next day, I got angry from Mum because there was too many with the reds off. Another one that I remember that Roy bought in new, and it was the new flower. I mean, because the Dutch people used to come, they'd spend hours trying to sell bulbs to you. Darn nuisance sometimes, you wanted to get on with work. But he bought this one called, oh God, Brilliancy. Brilliancy it was called. Yellow petal, creamy, smallish cup with a red rim around the edge. So that was the sort of varieties we had at that time. They had a lovely bed down Ward before, when I was a small child. And Ward wasn't quite south facing, but Trenances in St Dominic was. And these flowers always came at Easter time when you wanted white flowers. But we had so much easterly wind, Dad said, that it was too cold over that side. So being not quite south facing and not open to the south winds, because Ward's Hills was underneath the easterly wind. And they had a fine crop and they earned darn good money that Easter. But of course Trenances wasn't very happy because they couldn't get their flowers to market. But sent to market or else sent down on the market boats, mostly the market boats run by the Worse. And then Princeps, Reserves would be reasonably late, not that very late.
What did reserves look like?
Big, big flowers with nearly 5 inches across the outer petals.
Ooh.
They were big, and about 2.5 to 3 inch trumpets, and they were inch across or more. They were all yellow ones, the trumpets. They were great big ones, but I've never ever seen any since. But that's about all the ones that Dad grew. But of course when Dad moved up the farm, he got rid of the varieties.